to Crafted and Creative, a podcast meant to uplift and engage BIPOC creatives who are on their journey of making a social impact and creating a lasting legacy, as well as create community and a sense of guidance for those that are looking to do the same through their artistry. Today's guest is Kar Logan. He's an actor and writer based in New York City. His show Wingman is now streaming on Tubi. He's worked on The Psychological Evolution of Fuckboys, produced by Keke Palmer, and Situationships on BET.com. He starred in the TV pilot Dads Do It Too, which screened at Essence Festival this past summer, and so much more has he done. Thank you so much, Kar, for joining me.
Thank you, Deja, for having me. And I don't know, thank you for having me. Thank you for the great intro.
Listen,
like, what's
here.
first? I don't know, but like, no, thank you for having me. Thank you.
Here.
I'm glad to be here, and congratulations on the project. Congratulations on the platform and everything you're doing.
Thank you. So I just want to jump off. Kar is the way that I heard about Kar. First of all, I heard about you through a mutual friend of ours, Ivy, where she was like, "No, yo, I have a friend that's like doing a lot of like TV stuff and writing." And so I was like, Kar, so I was following you before I even knew you. And it's funny because I want to tell a quick story. In 2018, we were in the same room. I went to the premiere of Situationships. I knew no one at the premiere. I just went. I was new to the city, and I was like scrolling on Instagram, and I'm like, okay, what events can I go to the city to like meet people? And so I've been a fan of you for a minute, Kar. I've been a fan for a minute.
Yo, damn, yeah, you took it back. I remember those two, like back the screenings, the finale parties, also we turned everything into like an event for that show. For everything that we were producing at that time. So I'm glad you came through and enjoyed yourself, and I'm also glad that like it was something that you were able to take from it. I guess like you wanted to be in that space to like also kind of like network, and it brought you here to doing what you're doing right now, to you acting right now. I mean, you was in Essence too as well. You know, you over here acting. You got your series that's coming out that we worked on together and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm glad that, not saying that you coming to Situationships took you here and everything, but I'm just glad that the experience added to your journey and everything. So that's good.
It did though. It inspired me just seeing like, oh, you can really create something without having a huge like, Warner Brothers behind you.
Yeah, it's so easy. I'm not gonna say it's so easy. I think the idea is easy. The execution is the difficult part. Because anything can happen. It's like, you could paint a pretty picnic, but you can't predict the weather type stuff, right? But even with that, it's taking that initiative to do that stuff is such a big leap of faith that like so many people are equipped to do. Some people aren't equipped to do. I mean, it may not be my place to judge, but I think everybody just needs to take their time to doing it. But even then, it's just one of those things where it's like, it's so rewarding when you finally decide to like take that journey to do that. I think it's dope.
So I want to know, how did you get on your journey? Like, what made you become a writer, somebody that's like, making stuff for Keke Palmer's production company? That's huge.
Right.
What
thank
got
you.
You started?
It's like, not even down to play myself, but I always, maybe just because of like how I experienced it or whatever, I just always say it was just so simple. Like, I've been writing since I was 8. I always say I've been writing since I was a kid. I've been writing like my own creative writing, my own fiction stories, just because I was watching TV all the time, because I'm reading books all the time. And I'm just like, a lot of it came from me like, oh man, I wish I was in that adventure, or I wish I was there. I wish I was in that spot, but they didn't have like a black character that looked like me, or they didn't have this and that. So a lot of times I would like draw myself in there, or write a special chapter or episode with me included in it. And I kind of feel like that started for me into just always writing creatively and stuff, right? So fast forward, I'm coming up with ideas and I want to do it, and I'm just like, might have been like maybe when I was like maybe 18 or something, 17, 18. I just graduated high school. I decided to write my like first script, but it wasn't the best. And I decided to just sit back and watch movies all the time. Just because like, all right, my job was off and on. I wasn't in college anymore at that time. So I just sat back and watched movies all the time. And after a while, when I found like my movies that I liked, I'm like, how can I write like these movies? How can I get into that? So I just really just sat there and just started writing more and Googling how to look at these scripts and everything, right? So fast forward from there, I'm writing these scripts. I moved to New York 2012. And from there, I haven't really still taken off for writing enough, right? So when I moved to New York, I moved to New York to really act because I really wanted to act. But at that time, I'm not really getting awarded or not awarded, but offered, or I'm not getting the roles that I'm auditioning for, trying to go out. Half the time, I can't even audition for them because they're not looking for my type or this and that. At that time, it was just like they need a black person number 5 in the background.
Right,
You know,
right.
I'm doing background on all these HBO shows and this and that, but it's just they needed black people in the background type stuff, right? So for me, what my turning point was around this time, you got Issa Rae, Awkward Black Girl, Insecure is about to pop off and everything. You got everybody, Black and Sexy TV, everybody's creating their own platforms and own shows and stuff, right? I am doing background on HBO's, what's that joint? Boardwalk Empire. So I'm there in the scene with like Michael K. Williams and everything. I'm on the finale, the season finale, where it's like a chain gang and we're escaping and everything, right? So I'm a part of the chain gang. They had to put shackles on my ankles or whatever, right? And when they put the joints on my ankles, I heard a clink, clink, and I was like, oh, these sounds real. I was like, oh, these sound real.
No.
And the white guy that was putting them on my ankles was like, yeah, they are real. Yeah. They don't make fake shackles. And I was like, they make real shackles? Like, what? Like, they still make real shackles? What is this?
Only brand of shackles y'all could get.
That's the only, like, I'm like, Hollywood can make dinosaurs and King Kong, but y'all can't make fake shackles? Like, that is insane to me. Like, you could have did some CGI shackles or something, right?
I am screaming.
So I'm sitting over there, like, in shackles for 14 hours the day. I'm getting chased by white men in, like, shotguns and stuff. And I'm just like, I hope this is not it for me. Like, I hope this ain't it for me, right? So when I finally got off set after that, I think that was it for me. I was like, I can write. I live in New York now where I'm linking up with filmmakers and everything like that. Let me try and take advantage of this right now. So I just started linking up with people, and then that led to just us writing and creating our own stuff after that.
Wow. So it was like that experience and just seeing.
That experience,
I mean,
yo.
that's kind of, yeah.
That experience was like.
It's deep, though.
Because
yeah.
I'm sitting over there like, not that I had a choice or nothing, but I'm like, I couldn't be in shackles for 14 hours. So how do they do that for days on end? But I'm like, they didn't have a choice, of course. But, so I'm just sitting there, I'm like, I have a choice. Let me
go out and make something,
and
tell a different story.
Yeah.
Where it's like, to a certain extent, it's like, okay, when are we going to really be in control of our own narrative? So it's amazing that you were able to take that and be like, nope, I'm about to go over here and write stories that star myself as being a person and a human. And I'm not, somebody that's bound to literal, actual, real shackles, because clearly they couldn't get fake ones.
Yeah. They couldn't get fake shackles.
But I want to know, so at that time, did you know that you wanted to be, which one came first? So acting came first, that you realized you wanted to actually pursue it? Because you said you were kind of naturally writing. So did you already know that you wanted to pursue a career in the arts?
I would say that, because originally I wanted to be a video game designer. If I ever wanted to be a writer, it was to write stories for video games. But if anything, I used to draw a lot, so I wanted to be a cartoonist. I wanted to be an artist, a video game designer, any of those things or whatever, right? I never necessarily wanted to make a career out of writing, but I knew for a fact I wanted to act or entertain to be on TV. I just didn't fully take advantage of that until like I was like a young adult and I moved to New York at that time and stuff. But before then, like, I'm sitting around watching, writing was just something I did for fun.
Mm-hmm.
One thing about stuff that I'm realizing as an adult now, that I wish I still kept on when I was younger. When I'm a kid, I just like doing that stuff for fun, But when you become an adult now, especially in today, you're quick to monetize your hobbies, right? And that's kind of like what makes me not like a lot of stuff as much anymore. But when it came to acting, that wasn't something that was like a hobby. That was just something like, no, I want that to be a career. I want to jump to that.
You do?
So
okay.
Yeah, it's like I think that could be something I could be good at, because I used to sit around and watch all that. I used to Kenan and Kel. Like, a lot of people sit around and they're like, they have their acting inspirations. They have the people that brought them to it. For me, it's Kel Mitchell. Like, a lot of people, like, he's one of the first, he's one of, like, him, Lee Thompson Young, Will Smith, Kadeem Hardison. Those are the 4 black actors I saw when I was a kid that made me think, I want to be like one of them on TV somehow. So
Yes.
then I was like, all right, boom, I gotta act. But I never really took it seriously until I moved to New York 2012.
And so it just kind of naturally bloomed, like you said, having
Yeah,
those
like I might have did
experiences
some
as an
theater
actor.
back in like middle school. I did like a couple theater plays in middle school, but that's about it.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So, what type of stories draw you as a actor and as a writer? Do you feel like those two correlate? Like a lot of the times that when you're writing, you're like thinking of the type of roles that you would want to play, or are you thinking about the type of stories that you would want to see?
Both. I think it's about a bit of both because me personally, I love acting in other people's stuff more than I like to act in my own stuff because I like to help bring other people's ideas together because I know what I wrote, so it's not as difficult as much as a challenge. Acting is like a challenge for me. It's like a sport. It's like rap. I like to go out there and like kill some stuff or like do a different interpretation of someone's writing and stuff like that, right? Um, I think when it comes to I think when it comes to I guess yeah, this is a
Yeah.
good question, yeah.
So, okay, but it's like
Uh,
when you are writing it, like you say, you like to bring other people's stories to
yeah,
life,
like
and
it's like that. So like with writing, I'm bringing my stories to life, right? Sometimes I'm bringing other people's stories to life if they ask me to write for them, but that's fun too. But I think nothing's more fun than just like kind of like writing my ideas a lot of the
hmm
times, or even taking someone else's idea and putting my spin on it. Because at the end of the day, it's always like about like your voice, and I think writing, which made it fun for me, was like I found my voice in writing. I
hmm
found my particular language in it. I found how can I make this authentic to me, but still a gift to you guys in a
hmm
sense. It's like a Secret Santa gift. You know what I mean? Like it's an anonymous gift, and I want y'all to like it, but at the same time, I still want it to like have a semblance of me in there
hmm
or whatever. It's kind of like that. So I think that's I really like writing for that type of aspect where it's a piece of me in there, but it could be whatever I want it to be.
hmm
Yeah.
hmm So I want to know, like, I notice a trend of a lot of like relationships, romantic themed um, projects that you've worked on before. Is that like coincidence or is
And
that?
that's so funny too, because I sat there and thought about it too. I was like, when I be like applying for jobs or something, or like I'm applying for like other gigs, or when people ask me the list of stuff that I've done, I'm sitting there looking. I'm like, damn, yeah, that was about relationships. Yeah, that was about someone going through something. Yeah, that was about relationships. Or
So,
that was a.
well, my
So.
question with that though, with
Mhm.
situationships, with your project Wingman, how much of your experience in in dating,
Uh,
what's the tea? How much
yeah, that's
do you
one.
use of yourself and of people around you? Do you use in those stories?
Ironically, I would say that I wrote Wingman when I did less dating than I did. Like if I were to write like I might have been ahead of my time or whatever when I wrote that. Like if I were to write Wingman today, it'd be a whole different type show if I put like a lot of my experiences in there. But in terms of how much goes into it, Wingman definitely was a product of how I communicate with my friends and how we hang out and stuff like that. Because, like I said, I do want to bring a piece of me to my writing, but I don't want to be one of those people that's writing my entire life all the time or writing me into a story all the time. It's kind of like one of those. My writing is so you guys could be a fly on the wall of maybe certain conversations, or a fly on the wall in what this conversation could look like in another universe or another world or something like that. So I always try to I always try to make it look like boom, you just been dropped down in the middle of this conversation. You just got to pretend that you know what's going on, right?
Hmm
So like when it comes to like Wingman, I wrote that just based off of and it also came from what I wanted to see. You got to be that change that you want to see type stuff. I realized like, damn, I'm not seeing like a lot of shows or anything that focuses on just young black men just kind of just kicking and hanging out, right? It's great. We got a lot of shows right now with, four black women discovering themselves in their 20s and their 30s.
hmm
Great. Love it too. But I'm just also just like, dang, I
That's so
wish I could
true,
join that
though.
conversation.
Yeah.
There was very few shows like that. And I just think about the conversation I have with my friends. Granted, a show about four guy friends hanging out is nothing groundbreaking, right? But when I think about how it could be spun in a dope way, because the conversations I mean my friends have maybe more progressive conversations with my guy friends, and just how we hang out at the bar and we're just just kicking it and we're just goofing off talking about movies, sci-fi, current events, sports, whatever, and all just blends together. Conversation, and we're still throwing in women in the conversation, everything like that. I wanted to just show something that like reflected that. So that's kind of like how Wingmen came about, and so yeah, it has a balance of like some of like some conversations me and my friends have, some instances that happen with me and my friends, and then yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so when you're acting in something that you wrote, how do you turn that brain off? Because for me, I'm just like, ooh, maybe I need to change this, or how do you make that switch?
Man, I don't know. I'm still working on the switch. I'm gonna be honest. It's I don't know. It's weird because it's like I go in sometimes just the way my mind works is like I just want to go and get it over with. I just want to go in, say these lines, do it, and I am out because I don't want to stress over too much. I don't try to stress over my lines too much. I try to like be a one take Jake type person just so I'm not overthinking like, I could have did this better. I could have did it like that and stuff. So bringing myself into it. It depends on the role. Like I might bring myself into it depending on the role.
Okay.
Depending on the lines, depending on the energy that's needed. It could be the lines, it could be the energy, it could be the director, whatever.
Is it easy for you to like relinquish control when you're collaborating, when you're making a film? We were talking before this, and you said that you have another project coming on. How do you break off and allow yourself to collaborate with other people, especially being a writer, producer, and actor and all these things? How do you
like I'm gonna be honest, sometimes it's difficult just because sometimes for me it's not difficult coming up with an idea together with someone, but if it's like an idea that I came up with, sometimes that is a little bit harder to kind of like relinquish certain things. But in my experience, I learned that I've gotten a much better product by collaborating with people because it's all about, man, look, if they helping you out, they working with you, and not for you, should be working with you, right? I'm like, y'all are collaborating with me. I am open to hear whatever ideas you guys got. Like, if this line doesn't hit well, make it authentic to you. Like, the lines that I write, I'm not married to them. I write them just so you can ease into them the same in your way. If I'm thinking it this way, but the cinematographer that I had, the director that I got might be like, I see how you wrote it, but have you thought about it like this? And I'm like, oh. And you know what I mean, and it leads to a much better, tighter project, product sometimes,
And you're able to relinquish that because it's such
easier.
A collaborative.
Because sometimes it's like your way isn't always the way. It may be the way you want it to be, but also just be open to it. You can reject ideas, but at least you don't hear them out sometimes. That's how I feel.
So I want to touch on working at KeyTV. How did that come about?
That was so how I got that opportunity was, and it was so funny. I remember when KeyTV was announced, they like had we're accepting admissions, blah blah. I emailed them like crazy. I was like, hey, I'm trying to work with y'all or whatever, right? Didn't hear back, but I got it through Damn Right Originals. Shout out to them. They are a production company based out of LA. They do a lot of projects, and they were looking for writers for a new project that they were doing. The head of Damn Right Originals, Nakia Stevens, she already produced one project for KeyTV, and she was in the midst of creating another project for them because her first project did well. So they wanted to create more, and she was looking for a writers team for it, but specifically she wanted like black men for the writers room for this one. And I was like, hey, I'm a black man, I can write. So I applied. We had an interview, and it went well. And she was like, "I would like to have you for the show." And that was the show that we did, the Psychological Evolution of Fuckboys, which was a great show. We wrote the episodes, and we put them out on KeyTV, and it was a great experience being in a writer's room. That was a really good experience with collaboration.
Do you prefer writer's room, or do you prefer to like just go off and be in a silo, just
again, that depends on the project. Like if it's my idea, me alone, but like other people's stuff, I love to contribute. I love to hear their ideas. That was a great experience right there. Experience. That was good because we all got to hear ideas. We all contributed to each other's thing. We all bounced off each other, and a lot of us was like remote too. They're based out of LA, but I'm in New York and stuff. So everybody was spread out, but we were able to communicate and do it well over Zoom, and we banged out pretty quick. It was a really good experience.
So what would you like to do that you haven't done yet? as a writer and as an actor?
More acting? No, no, no. What I would want to do as a, I don't know. I guess what I haven't. I don't know. I guess get my dream projects off the ground. I got some scripts that I've been working on since I graduated high school that I'm revamping. I got ideas since then that I would just love to just keep to finally get in fruition, to finally put them into physical form and stuff like that. That's, I think, the goal for me. You know, like once, like I could keep acting until like I'm 50. But if I finally get that opportunity, hey, Kar, you can finally make a movie, it's going to be those scripts that I wrote back in like 2007 and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So that, I think that'll be it when I'm like, I got all my childhood dreams out, and then I could like work on other stuff.
And so, with these star yourself, are you like you booking yourself?
I don't know. I'm a little bit older now, so I'm a little bit older now. Then,
Okay.
so yeah, I might gotta. I would definitely be down to act. You know, like I said, I know I might contradict myself when I said I don't want to act my own stuff, but like I would definitely do that now and everything. I see me starring in them. I see other people starring in them. I always love to give people opportunities to act in my stuff too, because I know other actors and I know how it is sometimes. So I'm like, I will skip a casting call sometimes just because, you know, not even just reaching out to our friends, but also just know people that need the opportunity that I know of. It's like, we can finally come together and network across and make something right now. So y'all do that a lot.
Yeah. So, what would you advise to someone that wants to get into writing and acting? I'm gonna throw that in too.
All right, I'm gonna do both then.
Yeah,
all right,
do
so
both. Give us both.
If you want to get into writing, I feel like everybody gives you the advice to write every day. I think that's cool and all, but that's not enough. I think if you want to write or be what is considered a good writer, I think you need to experience every day. I think you need to go outside. You need to people watch, ear hustle, eavesdrop on conversations. You just need to just walk out, go to a party, go to a bar by yourself. Just talk and just get different types of vibes of people out in the world, and that'll help you craft a better world and a stronger story for like whatever you're trying to put out. For acting, I think the don't underestimate training. Don't underestimate training. I say this as somebody that's just getting into training too as well. Definitely don't be afraid to learn new techniques, and don't be afraid to, you know, to mess up, to act. Try different things. Don't just go out there and think that, hey, I've always wanted to act. Let me just jump in front of a camera. And sometimes if you can do that, it might be good. But if it doesn't work out for you, or like just don't be afraid for training. Just don't be afraid for help, you know, to do it the right way. You don't always want to cut corners.
Right. And so, what's next for you?
What's up next for me?
Yeah, what's next for
What's
you?
up next for
What you
me?
doing
So, currently, I have a couple projects actually releasing soon. I have a feature that I'm in, a romantic thriller. I have a series coming out that you and I are in. We'll be working on another series together.
We will. So be on the lookout.
Look out for that. I got a couple projects that was in the festival started coming out, and I'll be working on my like first horror project again soon. So, yeah.
Yeah. So it's busy.
Trying to be
It's
busy, trying to stay busy. Yeah.
Yes.
You know, it's a good busy.
Yes, I love that. Where can people find you?
Yes. Thank you, Deja. Thank you for having me. Thank you for asking that. You could find me on social media platforms. All of them is Kar Logan. That's KarLogan _ on Twitter, regular on everything else.
Yes. All right. So thank you all so much for watching this episode of Crafted and Creative, and I will see you all in the next episode.